And how, if at all, they will be saved? The answer is 73rd Jamaat will be created.
And that is Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah.
And that is the Jamaat created by Jesus in his re-advent. That is what I am emphasizing.
But Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they say the last Jama'ah that granted heaven is Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah.
That's right. Not Sunnah Jamaat, because it is the Sunnah Jamaat which got bifurcated into 72 sects. The Jamaat which we refer to as Sunnah Jamaat is the Jamaat itself which got split into 72 sects. It began with Sunnah al-Jamaat, as they claim. Then the split came between Shias and Sunnites. Then all the Sunnites and Shias progressively got split into other smaller sects. So how could you refer to that Jamaat, which itself got split into 72, as the 73rd?
Okay, I've got another question.
It's inconceivable.
Okay.
So that is why I built the whole scenario again for you with reference to Jesus Christ. When those 72 came into being, who are referred to as the rejected sects of Judaism, they became rejected after the advent of Jesus, not before that. So also when the Holy Prophet speaks of the split in Islam, at the end he always refers to the re-advent of Jesus. So the similarity is perfect and very clearly understandable. So that Jamaat has to be the Jamaat created by a man claiming to be the Jesus, not otherwise. And this is the only Jamaat, Ahmadiyya Jamaat, which is founded on that precept that Jesus has come again. So if we are also wrong, it does not mean the rest are right. The 70 would remain condemned as a whole, but not individually. Remember this. As I have already referred to a verse of the Holy Quran which spoke of good people, honest people, well-meaning people in even other beliefs and religions. And God has guaranteed them a good end. So in view of that, it is impossible for me to conceive that this condemnation meant individual condemnation of each member of each sect. It's impossible. It's an overall condemnation of the state in which these sects would be found, a disorderly, scattered state without a central authority to supervise their affairs, and without any solid movement to return these people back to the original crystal purity of Islam. This is the general state which is condemned. It would not lead you to anywhere if it continues. But then God will take over and send someone from himself, that is referred to as Jesus Christ. Please.
Okay, thanks a lot already.
Thank you. Jazakumullah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Do you agree that all roads, all paths lead to God?
All paths may lead to God.
May lead to God.
It's a different thing. I believe in that.
You believe in that?
All paths may lead to God, because in support of this belief I have already quoted a verse of the Holy Quran.
Yeah.
Allazina jahadu fina lahdiyannahum subulana. Here many paths are mentioned, not one single path. So it says that on whichever path one is, that path may lead to God if one is sincere and genuine, but it all depends on divine help, not on his own individual efforts. So anyone who wants to be led to God from any path will be led to God if he seeks God's hand, and when he takes over, he would see to it that he is led to the way which ultimately leads to him. Thank you. Yes, please.
Welcome in the UK, sir.
Thank you. Jazakumullah.
I have read, as well as the Holy Quran, a book called Murder in the Name of Allah, which seemed common sense to me. In my copy from the library, somebody had written in ball pen, "Beware this man is not a Muslim, with so much hatred.
It's just like, he's treating me like a butcher.
My question is the extension of compassion to others of God's creatures.
That's right.
In the ancient times on the Middle East desert, people used to cut pieces off live animals as they went along from oasis to oasis. Therefore Moses, and then Muhammad, said only whole, undamaged animals should be killed and eaten. Now, we know that animals suffer having their throats cut and bleeding to death, which can take up to 6 minutes, as we would. Therefore, today, should they be pre-stunned? And now, with agriculture, hardly any of the world's people have to eat meat, so have to kill to live. So would you agree that today Moses and Muhammad would be vegetarians?
Thank you, Jazakumullah. Thank you for the answer. I'll begin with the first part of the answer first. I believe in the validity of religious practices all over the world of partaking of animal flesh. I think there is nothing in it which is against the overall grand plan of God, who is all compassionate and all merciful. He must be understood in the reflective mirror of nature he has created and the history of evolution, which is better known to us today than ever before. You see, the level of consciousness is different at different stages of life. And killing of other animals situated at lower orders is a law in nature, not an exception. Despite the fact that some animals are known to be vegetarians, even these vegetarians eat up a lot of living things. I'm not talking about bacteria, insects, worms, and so many things become a daily part of the diet of the so-called vegetarian animals. So if you study the issue, you must study in this wider canvas of the behavior of life. And there we find that big fish eats the smaller fish, and it is a law of nature, and it is not against the compassion of God. If it were so, there will be no evolutionary movement forward, and the life would get stuck at very rudimentary stages of its creation. So, one thing I apologetically point to you is that to understand the concept of compassion must require a wider study of the overall plan of God's creation. Without reference to it, you can't understand that compassionability. One lesson, however, we draw from that is that what is important in that plan of God is higher quality in relation to the lower quality. The numbers do not matter, the quality matters. And that is the directive force of evolution. Quality is never sacrificed for the sake of number. Number is always sacrificed for the sake of quality. Even in human birth, at every time a child is conceived,